Hey guys, what's up? Hope every one of you are doing great. I'm doing great. So I'm back with a very interesting topic in the field of mental health and mental illness. Okay, you have heard of this term very often in our daily life because what I've seen and particularly research has said that people are getting into this trap. And what is this trap all about? This is called addiction. Addiction of any sort, whether it's substances, with his thoughts. Especially, we will be talking about addictions of substances that really create disabilities in the life of the people. It deteriorates the health, damages the quality of life, damages your social and personal relationship. So we will be focusing more on these topics. So eventually we have seen people around us getting addicted to some or the other kind of substances. Okay, and we will be generally talking about substance abuse rather than any other stimulants. People may think, or you may think, there are a lot of addiction. You can be addicted to anything. The addictions like gaming addictions, the gambling addictions, uh, they are compulsive and obsessive thoughts. Okay, there's addiction with caffeine, there's addiction with overeating, they say, but we will particularly limit us or ourselves to substance abuses like alcohol, the smoking, the drugs. Okay, and we will also be discussing out how we can really help out those in our family members, in our society, okay, to get out of this thing. Okay, so first let us discuss how this all starts. So it all starts with the dopamine surge. Okay, we are all aware whenever we intake certain stimulants, whether it's cigarette, through smoking, whether it's alcohol, through drinking, or any even the consumption of porn. Okay, that release certain dopamine surges in our brain, and as you know, dopamine are the pleasurable hormone. So my speed is okay now, brothers. I'm just trying to start it all again because I've not been preparing it for long, and so yeah, the speed will be slow, but the content definitely will be worth noticing. So I was talking about how the dopamine surge happens, and with time the dopamine surge give you the pleasurable experience. And what human tendency is that we tend to be more into those pleasurable experience. We want to experience it more and more. Okay, that's the same thing for instant gratification. So once that loop starts, okay, then the cycle of addiction start. Eventually addiction is not the lack of willpower, they say. It's the change in brain chemistry that happens during this addiction. As the dopamine surge happens, now what happens is you need to consume the same content in higher quantity in order to get the same pleasurable effect. Take the examples of smoking. Okay, we all are aware of this. It's not a new thing, but yeah, I would like to re-emphasize that when you smoke a cigarette, one day, okay, you will have the effect, but the other day, with time, as the dopamine surge increase, you need more cigarettes to get the same level of dopamine surge. And with time, if you are continuously smoking, continuously drinking, continuously exposing yourself to some kind of drugs, especially the chemical drugs or some kind of addictions like porn addictions, your brain chemistry is getting changed. Okay, you are definitely being addicted to certain things, but at the same time your brain chemistry is getting changed, and that is where the problem arises, and that is what the consequence of addiction really look like. Okay, and it damages not just your physical aspect but your social, financial, mental health too. Okay, the overall lifestyle get devastated by these things. okay, because your most time is consumed by this addictive behavior, okay, whether it's use of substance or anything. So this is how the loop start, and it continues till the phase comes where you feel like now it's getting out of hand and you're not able to control the addiction. Initially you thought that you will get control over this addiction because I have the willpower, I can stop smoking, I can stop this thing whenever I want. But with time, the dopamine surges, the withdrawal things, the physical dependency, the mental dependency, the brain chemistry, all have changed, and now you are a dependent of dopamine surges. You need the dopamine in some or the other form, otherwise you start feeling those physical mental symptoms. Let me discuss some physical and mental symptoms with you. Physical symptoms definitely includes high BP, low energy level. Psychologically you will feel agitated, irritable, okay, and a lot of other things. You feel anxious, you feel depressed, okay. You will have poor financial support because your most finance will be consumed by the substance, and you will even not be productive to earn some financial freedom for you. At the same time, lot of time is consumed on this addictive behavior. So it's really impact the people, and it not just impact the individual, it impacts the whole family, okay. So it's important for those in the family to actually help out that individual to get out of that addictive behavior, because willingness is the first thing, okay. And if he's really willing, then the family members could really support him. And definitely it's a process, and they say it really takes few months to a year to totally recover from this addictive behavior, because the brain chemistry need to be rechanged, rewire, and rewiring definitely takes step, and the change is very uncomfortable, and people definitely give up in between because they don't really want to they don't really, or they could not face the consequences of these changes, and they could not face the uncomfortableness, so they give up in between. But this one is for those who are really willing to cut down, who are really willing to change, who are really willing to win the fight against the addiction, okay. It's like any other disease that have biological, physical symptoms, and that can be treated if proper intervention, proper psychological and medical aid is provided. At the same time, the role of family members is very vital. So right now we were discussing how can we help someone with addiction, okay. I've seen cases in mental health hospitals, I've seen cases in rehabilitation, cases of drug abuse, cases of substance abuse, and their life has been devastated. Not just their life, the life of their family members has been totally in dismay, okay. So this is not a good thing, I would say. And if you really are willing, I know most of them are willing, but the brain is so powerful that it registers the change, okay. And when you are changing and when you are rewiring, you feel so uncomfortable, you have to take help, okay. Willingness plus help will help you get out of this problem, and you will be back to your normal and be more productive. So how do we cope up? The first thing, the family members play an important role, okay. So the family members should treat addiction as a disease, okay, not just a lack of willpower. It's a disease that is caused by the change in brain chemistry that require medical as well as psychological help. So first, this awareness needs to be created that it's a problem that can be treated, okay. Second thing, the family need to be patient and supportive. addiction is a long process. It took time to become like you took time to become addicted, but you need more time to get out of this addictive behavior. It may take months, it may take years, it may take medication, it may take psychological aid. So the family members definitely have to be patient enough. They need to show the supportive environment, because only then the improvement will be more visible. Okay. What happens certain time you need to set boundaries with those involved in addiction. Okay, not to outcast them, but give them some time to re-emphasize. Okay, to reassure them that the help is available, they are there for you, but do not get over involved in their life. Okay, just try to set a boundary. Okay, so the fourth one is you should encourage treatment. Okay, whenever you feel that some of your family members now have gone to the extent of addiction, initially it was for enjoyment, initially it was for fun, but now they have turned into an addiction. So in such cases, treatment should be encouraged. Eventually the treatment is the individual choice, but encouragement of treatment would definitely help the individual to get an idea that if he really wants to change, if he is willing to change, then the treatment is available. Okay, and one of the important thing in this case of addiction, definitely I have to study a lot. I've just studied an article and I tried to give a little bit of information of what addiction look like. Many of you may have gone through, many of you have seen your family members gone through this process of addiction. It's a very harsh process and it damages your life like none other. So why not get over this thing. There's a lot of wonderful to explore in this life. Okay, it all starts with exploration, but you need to set limits. Okay, what things are good for you and what are you being addicted to. Addiction of any kind is not a good thing. And what actually happens in addiction cases is there's a cases of relapse. Eventually you are showing progress, you are having that detox of your dopamine, you are controlling your dopamine surges, you are taking dopamine from other good habits. Okay, and you are reducing on those harmful habits, but eventually what happens, there are withdrawal symptoms that are visible. Okay, there are relapses that happens. Okay, that there are triggers still that act as a catalyst and you perform the same behavior again. So at that time, be patient, be mindful. Okay, the family members should play an important role and they should encourage that if relapse is happening, just go to the doctor, just talk about those things. Okay, these are important things. Talking about your problem is the first and foremost thing you can do. So that was a little brief of how addiction can be damaging, but for addiction is like any other diseases that can be prevented, that can be treated. I've always emphasized that prevention is better than cure. So why not prevent it from an early age, and don't let your fun or exploration turn into some addiction, because addiction of any kind is very devastating and harmful, especially those involved in drugs would impact financially, mentally, physically, socially. So the disadvantages are numerous, the gains are very few. The temporary gratification lasts for very few time or very few hours, but the consequences, the damaging effect lasts for long and long. So that was it, brother and sister. So it was definitely a message, at the same time a small revision that I wanted to do about a topic, addiction, how to cope with addiction, role of family members in terms of addiction. There's lot deep things to study. There's a lot of complex mechanism that plays it within the brain and the brain chemistry, the neurotransmitter, how it affects the behavior, how the loop works. There's a very complex things. Okay, we will be discussing that things later on. So that was it for today. I hope I tried to explain it in a good manner. I'm still working on my skills of the presentation and my communication skill too. So hope you like this. Thank you. Have a nice day, brother and sister.